This is the 213th episode of CloudFocus Weekly for the 4th week of April 2015. This episode, it's also an episode, is titled App Pick Updates. CloudFocus Weekly is brought to you by Clone This User. Clone an existing Salesforce user with a click of a button via the desktop or in Salesforce One Mobile. Probably not called Salesforce One Mobile anymore. Available for free on the App Exchange, or go to www.clonethisuser.com, which will bring you right to the App Exchange. I'm your host, Jason Atwood, and joining me for a very special episode is co-host with the mostest, Justin Apple Watch Edelstein.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah, it is you.
That's me.
We have a big agenda to get to today.
Hey, just real quick, because
Yeah.
you used the Clone This User drop to start this podcast.
I like you think that's a drop, but I just read it.
It's not really a drop.
Not a
I guess
drop.
it's more of the Clone This User copy.
It's my copy.
So I want to just clear up a little confusion out there with the user base of Clone This User around the desktop usage.
In that they think that it doesn't exist?
In that, a few things. Sometimes they think it doesn't exist.
Okay, so
Other times, people use it as, like, they go to the Clone This User tab, which totally works.
Right.
But the best user experience on the desktop, in my opinion,
Yes.
is to go to the user record that you'd like to clone and click the clone link that is supplied with the Clone This User application.
Right.
I think a lot of
You have
people
to add it to the
You just have
page
to add it
layout.
to the page layout. I think a lot of people are using the tab. And I've seen like one complaint, like, the logo's really big. Why is this logo so big? It wasn't really designed necessarily to work within that tab. But thank you for the feedback. We appreciate the comments. And I'm clarifying it right now on the podcast.
That's
you go.
all.
That's
Clone
all,
This
just
User.
for clarification purposes. We love the feedback, though. Keep it
We
coming.
do. We like the reviews have been flowing in for
They've been flowing.
for Clone This User and for the podcast. So we asked,
look at this.
We asked for a review. Remember, we are a free to you and me podcast.
That's right.
So we've asked.
No underwriting here.
No. Well, actually, it's been underwritten by Arkus.
That's right.
Cloud
Cloud computing experts.
But we love getting reviews, because they help with, like, downloads and things. So there's two places you can review. So here's the thing. I won't mention this at the end of the podcast because I'll mention it now, which is you can review us on iTunes, which is if you're an iTunes user, that'd be great. Just log in and leave a review. Or you can review us on Stitcher, or both. Both is the best. But anyway, we got a new review on iTunes the other day, and I'm just going to read it out. It's from PPAC Scott. That's his first name. First name's PPAC.
Last name's Scott.
Yeah, it's like Scotty. It says, I've been listening to CloudFocus
Scotty
Weekly
don't.
ever since I became involved with Salesforce, and I don't know what I would do without it. Justin and Jason provide the latest and upcoming Salesforce news as well as related cloud news. No matter what your involvement in Salesforce is, you must download this podcast. Now, you notice he says download, not listen.
Yeah, you don't have to listen.
Yeah, we don't really
care.
care if you listen at all.
We really don't.
There's nothing here for you. Just download it.
Yeah,
And if you download
thank
it on
you.
multiple devices, that's really the best. Because it's all the download stats. Anyway,
Stats. It's all about stats.
So we have a good agenda. We're going to have the blog post of the week. We have a little Apple Watch news because it is Apple Watch Day. And then we're going to get into our sort of the bulkifying of everything here is we're going to get into the app pick updates. So this is something I was thinking about at some point. As I go through and I use apps that we've picked before, I'm kind of like, wow, there's some apps that I've like fallen in love with and I use a ton, and there's some that I don't use anymore. And I basically want to repick the ones that I think are great and maybe they've have updates, maybe they've done new things with them. So
Right.
kind of give people who maybe didn't pick down everyone, kick in the tuk-tuk. That's a restaurant.
That is a
in
restaurant.
Long City.
I just thought of that. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, is he talking about that Thai restaurant?
No, I'm
that
talking about
that we like so much.
the tukus. Kicking the tukus to maybe try these out. So anyway.
Which means we're not making app picks of the week this week.
No.
I'm
we're
off the
making
hook for
5.
that.
You're off the hook.
All right,
See,
good.
This is why you love this
I
episode.
love this
You
episode.
don't
I've
have to
already
do
done
any
this.
work. You've already done the work.
What do you mean? I had to go back and look at the last year.
By the way, we did get a suggestion to make the entire list of every pick that we ever made public.
We could do the first 100 because we have them in
about
the
102.
sheet.
I went and checked. So, yeah.
Remember to update spreadsheet.
Yeah, it's right here in the
It's
Google.
literally written right here. And it's linked and everything.
And we don't do it.
We don't do it.
We
just
need an
don't.
intern. If you want to intern at Arkus,
send us an email at intern@arkusinc.com.
that's right. Or info@arkusinc.com.
Or whatever.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Just anything at arkusinc.com.
And it'll come to somebody.
It'll get there.
Yep. All right, so let's talk first about the blog post on blog.arkusinc.com.
Hey, there's a broken image in our blog post.
I know.
Can you fix that?
I will fix it. It's on my list of things to do this weekend. Basically, the formulas. So it's called Formula Magic with Salesforce, and the formulas were pasted into like the code of the page, but they're fighting each other. Like it's HTML is fighting the code of the formula. So for the big formula, I took a screenshot of it instead of having it clickable. So either I've got to go figure out how the screenshot why it's not working, or I have to go back and figure out how to make it an actual code. Because
I kind of like the call outs of the way the rest of this stuff is formatted.
Oh, it looks exactly the same. I just took a picture of the call out.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
So anyway, we'll do that.
So anyway, these are some formulas.
Yes.
Some magical formulas.
Yes.
With the purpose of why you might use them. And I think some of them are like really great for reuse.
Yep.
Like they're not super specific, right? So age of a contact.
Yep, that's one of my faves. I use that all the time.
Close date is in the past.
Good one for a
Stuff like
validation
that,
rule.
right? Some of them are a little bit more use case driven and very specific, but really nice. I think, what are there, 5?
Yep.
A collection of 5 formulas that you can utilize in your everyday life as a Salesforce administrator.
Right. Yeah, so there's one that's chunky, and that's the one the image is mixing. So, yeah, so go to blog.arkusinc.com and look up Formula Magic with Salesforce.
Yes.
So that is
a good one
there. And you can play with the formulas. We keep our...
There are also some shout-outs, by the way, to Steve Moe.
Nice.
Chris Edwards.
I've heard of him.
For helping out in
some of these.
Answers community.
Great.
And stuff.
All right, next up, quick little thing, because we don't really have... So this is Apple Watch Day.
It is.
The day that supposedly everybody's supposed to get their Apple Watches.
It drops on April 24th.
Then they recounted that, and they said, well, maybe later. But somebody, I think, has one waiting for them at home. So let's talk about what you're excited about your Apple Watch.
You know what I'm excited about? Going home, opening the box.
The box! What's in the box?
Seeing what it looks like.
Yep.
Putting it on my wrist. And then setting it up with you.
Okay.
So you can set it up for me.
Wow. Is that why you're like, let's go play with it?
Let's go play. Well, you know you want to play with it.
I don't really want it.
You totally want to.
I want to wait to my own.
I'm going to send you my heartbeat, but it won't go anywhere.
It won't go anywhere because my heart was not connected to you. So mine is in that.
I'm excited because it's there. I checked it. It's delivered. It's sitting at the front desk of the building.
Maybe I'll put in a ticket in the building for someone to step on it.
No, that would not be appropriate.
No.
But how about that? It was supposed to ship and get there on April 24th, and it arrived on April 24th. We were talking about it this morning, where Apple does what I think is a good job of setting expectations properly.
Right.
It's the old credo of, under promise, over deliver.
Of course.
So when I purchased the watch, it said delivery estimation June. And I was like, okay, I'll get it at some point. I bought it. I was going to buy it, and I'm going to get it when I get it.
Right.
And now I'm getting it April 24th, and I'm a happy camper.
Yeah,
I
know
ordered
some
mine
people before you, and I'm not a happy camper.
Well, I think that's because I ordered
the least popular model.
Probably the least popular model, right? the aluminium with the bright green band.
Yes.
And it's probably more to do with the band than the aluminium.
It's all to do with the band.
So I ordered, I guess what people consider the ugliest band.
Or just the least popular.
The least popular.
I'm not going to make any judgments on
I don't care. To me, it's Arkus green.
It's not even remotely Arkus green.
But that's why I got it.
It's neon.
It's so cool. Yeah, I'm excited. I get to go home. We're going for a run tomorrow. I'm going to be wearing it.
Yeah.
See how it does with battery on a run.
Yep.
Don't know why it would do any differently than any other time.
Well, I think when you're running, it's actually paying attention. But I just can't wait for all the apps. Anyway, so we'll do
Once we both have them.
Well, and I'm set to do a blog post about
Salesforce stuff on the watch. I will definitely be throwing Salesforce apps on it. I'll definitely be throwing Runkeeper on it. I'll be throwing all sorts of stuff on it. We'll see how it goes. In terms of, I'm most excited to go for a run tomorrow with the watch and see what happens and give my wife my Fitbit.
Right, there you go. All right. Cool. All right, let's get to our big pick episode here.
Okay.
So again, we this is kind of going back. I think I went back and gave you the instructions to go back to like not a year, but like 9 months or so.
Yeah, so the oldest thing I have on here is from June.
I have one that goes back a little bit farther, but
June.
It's just like so part of my life. I have to repick it, so I did go back pretty far for one. But for the others, I stuck within. And I picked. We're gonna do a 5-to-1. So from your fifth best pick down to your first.
Got it.
And then I have a couple bonuses if you want to throw them in there, and then I have a couple duds.
I have some duds
that I picked that I either was really excited about or I thought they were stupid, and now I don't like them anymore.
Same here.
Why don't you go first with your first number 5? This is your top 5 app picks. This is your 5th.
I'm reordering them right now.
Okay.
I just wanted to make one quick reorder.
Okay.
So this is kind of a silly
tell me
one.
what episode you changed.
Yeah, I will. So this is kind of a silly one.
Yeah.
It's from episode 203.
Yeah.
So 10 episodes ago, back in January.
Ooh. Okay.
You like how I did that quick math?
No.
Oh, okay. I picked Akinator the Genie.
Interesting.
And this is still a fun game, and I still play it all the time.
Do you still play this game?
Because I'll be sitting there watching television with the wife, and some character will come on, and we'll be like, oh, I wonder if we can get that with Akinator. Because the iPad will be just sitting there on the table or something.
Right.
And we'll like pause it, and we'll try and stump Akinator, and kind of stump ourselves with the questions that Akinator's asking us.
Right.
So do I have to recap what Akinator is?
Yeah, just give a little
So
review.
Akinator is more of a game, I guess. And we played it on the air.
Yes.
On the air quote air.
Yes.
Where it asks you, this genie character asks you a series of questions where you answer yes, no, probably, don't know,
right,
or probably not, stuff like that. And it guesses at the end of the day a person.
Right.
And for the most part, it gets it right.
So it's using Google as a background, and it's basically...
We think.
I know.
Okay, so it's building an algorithm, searching.
Yeah.
It starts pretty wide,
like
right?
Living or dead, right?
Living or dead, real person or not. Or like it really asks yes, no. So like, is your person real?
Right.
Is it a male?
Right.
That kind of stuff to start to narrow the questions down. And all of a sudden, it just pinpoints it, and boom, it's off. And like, I'll do like The Wire. I love The Wire, so I'll do like Omar.
Right.
And like all of a sudden, it'll be like, is it a male? Yes. Is it real? No. Is it on a TV show? Yes.
Right.
Is your character black? Yes. Is your character involved in drugs? Yes. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's about to get. It's like, does your character carry around a shotgun? I'm like, oh Lord, it knows it. Like within 7 questions, it's Omar from The Wire.
All right, so your 5th pick
is Akinator the Genie.
Akinator Genie. Funny enough, my 5th pick from the same episode.
No kidding.
203.
203. Good episode.
It is something that I have not only. How many of these are Kickstarter? Only one. It's something that is a Kickstarter, and it's a Kickstarter re-Kickstarted. So because I've actually I funded their second one, so they've done it during another one. So it is the EcoCube. So this is the you can Google it, but basically it's a self-contained plant, light source, and then fish place for fish. And the idea is that the fish poop, the plant eats the poop, and the water comes clean, and it's sort of a cycle of life. So you don't need filters and things like that. I will say I'm picking it because I stare at it every day.
You do need to feed the fish, though.
You do need to feed the fish.
I know this,
and I really like it. I'm picking it almost because I think the next version, which they're calling the EcoCube C,
can't wait.
They've like taken everything they learned from the first version, and they like
how to make a proper top.
Yeah, and how to have it all integrated, and there's like stuff that are it's like a little bit off in the first version,
Like
right?
maybe just dump a bunch of food into a thing and have it feed itself.
They're thinking about automatic feeders,
Yeah,
timers.
they need
that was the other
stuff.
thing that the first
timers,
one.
Yeah.
So like, because the light's cool. It can do different effects. Anyway, EcoCube. So I don't think you can even buy the EcoCube. I think you can only get the EcoCube C now. You can go fund it. I'm picking it because you should go.
Are you gonna do it?
I already did it. Yeah. Well, they gave the people who were.
Wait a minute. What are you gonna do with the fish?
What do you mean?
The fish that are currently living in your.
No, I'm gonna put a
EcoCube.
different fish in the other one. It's smaller.
It's
smaller. It's a totally different one. You can go look at it. EcoCube C. Anyway, or C. Anyway, so I'm picking my original pick, but then I'm saying if you're really interested, it's a cool project, and it has some educational stuff for it. If you have kids, it's not very expensive. Take a look at the EcoCube or the EcoCube C. All right, next up, number 4.
Okay. The thing I'm retiring today.
Your Fitbit.
My Fitbit Flex.
Okay. Did you actually make that a pick?
Yeah, episode 198.
Ooh, 198.
Halloween.
Okay.
Of 2014. I made the Fitbit a pick. I was really on the fence on wearables, and
I think you fell off of it.
I fell off the fence.
Yeah.
I scraped my knee. I really have enjoyed wearing my Fitbit Flex. I've done a couple of things with it besides just track steps.
Right.
I've tracked my weight in it.
Nice.
And I've also set a subtle alarm for every morning. It'll start vibrating at around 6 a.m. or at 6 a.m. to wake me up.
Okay.
Before like my alarm clock starts blaring.
Right.
It's like a nice little gentle wake up as opposed to a crazy blaring alarm clock type of wake up.
Yep.
And I've become, I won't say I'm totally as obsessed with this kind of thing as you are, because you're like over the top crazy pants with tracking steps.
Wow, just throwing around insults.
Well, that wasn't an insult. You can take it as a compliment, but you're pretty crazy sauce when it comes to tracking your steps and I think you track a lot of stuff in an app called, don't mention it because you're picking it. Okay, excellent. To be determined.
I like
Coming up later.
I like that I'm whispering something so he says what I'm whispering because that's good.
Coming up soon.
Podcasting.
Jason's app for tracking stuff.
Yes.
But anyway, yeah, I really like the Fitbit. I don't mind it on my wrist. It's been my entree to then getting an Apple Watch.
Now, interesting enough, because you didn't buy it. You won it.
No, I won it, and I would never have bought it.
So that's interesting.
And because I won it as a raffle at Dreamforce,
yes,
during the
fun run with
the
Erica,
Dreamforce 5K, they raffled off a bunch of stuff, and I won the raffle, and it was like I won first, so it was like pick what you want,
right?
And it was like, oh, you know what? I think I'll pick that Fitbit,
right?
Why not? Really easy to set up, really easy to use, great mobile app, the whole 9. So I've loved you, Fitbit, for the about 6 months I've had you. But I'm going to upgrade to an Apple Watch now, and I'm going to give you to my wife.
That'd be interesting. So mine, number 4, is from episode 201, which was in December. I now can... The reason I kind of want to do this episode 2 was to kind of go back and look at stuff and kind of say, is it still stuff that you really still use? So something that I still use every single day and still enjoy is the Ergotron. So my standing desk apparatus, and I've gotten one of the partner who should not be named. He now uses it at home.
Funny, both of our second picks here are hardware.
Yeah, and both fitness related.
Correct.
Studies on the standing, it's unbelievable. Even your Apple Watch is going to make you stand up 12 times a day.
I was going to say, Justin, get up.
Yep. So it's the Ergotron. It's a standing desk adaptive thing. So it attaches to your desk, and it's this massive arm that can swing a million ways, but it's basically can go up or down. It holds your monitor, so it holds your monitor. It has like a big tray on it, which I love because I can put stuff on the tray. I can put my speaker and whatever, and then it has this piece that comes down. You put your keyboard. It's a big keyboard area, which I love because I can have my mouse, my keyboard, and I even put my iPhone or whatever on the side. So it's like it's a nice big area, and then when I stand up, it's all with me. There's no difference between standing and sitting other than standing up. I currently use it. The way I use it is I stand for meetings. So when I find it's just a break in my day. So, if I'm doing Salesforce work, I'm sitting. So I haven't gone to the full stand, as we have someone in the office here who we got him a full standing desk, and there's no sitting. So
there's no sitting. It does not really retract. So it stands. And when he gets tired, he sits on a beanbag chair.
Sits on a beanbag chair.
Yeah. So
I feel like
he'll
it's
just
the total opposite.
He'll he'll unplug the laptop from the big monitor and just sit on a beanbag chair.
Cool.
Also, when he and I collaborate or whatever,
he'll sit on beanbag chairs.
He used to sit sort of on the desk that is now no longer where it was.
Yeah.
Sort of just hunch over onto it. But yeah, we'll sit in the beanbag chairs or what have you.
And there's a beanbag chair in the studio here with us. So that's my Ergotron. They make a ton. I mean, this company makes a ton of these things. So you have to find the one that fits for you. I'm using it with a 24-inch monitor. The partner that shall not be named using it with a 27 and works fine. So I just really love it, and it's not expensive compared to buying a full standing desk. It's not very expensive, and it kind of gives you the best of both worlds.
The fact that it goes up and down,
right,
is what would get me to I couldn't purchase the one that's in the office over there because I could not commit to a total standing. I couldn't. I just know myself. My legs and back would go.
Right.
I just know it. I'm old. I'm just old.
Ridiculous.
My Fitbit said I'm old.
Yeah, your Fitbit says you're.
Go ahead.
You're number
right
3. Keep going.
Number 3.
20 minutes in.
From episode 187.
So I'm checking to see if those were any of my episodes. Ooh, it is!
Really?
Yeah.
I can't believe this.
Bingo.
That's 2, which was from August of last year. Gonna pick Reflector. So Reflector, I'm sort of bringing it back up because I still use it. Reflector 2 is now available. The Electric Boogaloo is now available. It has some extra features.
Yep.
Reflector is an app that allows you to take your iOS device and using AirPlay, have it show up on basically mirror it onto your laptop or desktop.
Right.
So not really an emulator. It's the real thing.
Right.
Like whatever you're doing on your phone is happening on your screen. So
great
it's great
for
presentations, demonstrations, sharing things on a mobile, showing people Salesforce 1. It's fantastic for that as opposed to going to like 1/1.app because it's not the phone. It's sort of
Is it still free? Or is it
it's never free. It was
free.
like $10 or $12, something like that.
You still use it?
Still use it. I think it's really very, very dependent on the AirPlay technology. So I don't think AirPlay is super great.
I think it's a great technology. I don't think it works as well as it's advertised.
Which to me means it's not super great.
Well,
we just said the same thing, just differently.
It just doesn't work.
You think it's a super great technology that doesn't work very well.
That's right.
So not super great.
Super great.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like the Wi-Fi that you're on needs to be faster or what it is, but it's latent and sometimes just freezes completely. The app itself, for what it allows you to do, is fantastic, though.
Right.
So Reflector, and Reflector 2 comes with a lot of new features. So check out Reflector 2. I will probably be purchasing Reflector 2 and making it a future app pick.
There you go. Mine is something that it's a little bit pedestrian, but it's something that I use every single day of my life, and I picked at one point. And I actually think this is a company that I have in the past. Oh, by the way, my pick from that episode is in my duds.
Oh, when are we going to do our duds?
Well, I'm throwing one in now.
Oh, okay.
The League Smack Talk.
Good one. Good dud.
Dud. We can do our duds before maybe our first pick. All right. So this one I use all the time, and it's a company that I used to really think was behind the times and wasn't keeping up with stuff, but now I feel like they kind of gotten it, and it's QuickBooks Online. It is it's from Intuit. It is their reimagining of QuickBooks, online only.
Reimagined QuickBooks.
But they've done some really interesting things. First of all, their apps. So they have an iOS app that, iPhone, iPad, they're working online. And they've also created a Mac app, which is basically just a view into the online, but it kind of has a little things around it.
I only use the app.
But it's interesting because it is... I think it's a great blend, and it's something that I think Salesforce could kind of look into, because it's a great blend of being an app, but it's not an app. It is actually pulling data from online, and it's
so well to that point.
Yeah,
I only use the application.
Yes.
Because it's just so much easier to just
Click
spin it up and boom, the app's open and it opens like immediate.
Yep.
Way faster than going to a website or whatever, right? As my phone
I don't know if that's.
I don't know who would be calling me from there. Probably spam. But back in I think it was like the mid 2000s, early 2000s. I think it was Bill Gates who had said the future of computing is software plus services. Right. And a lot of people who are really into the web and like web and web 2.0 and cloud were sort of saying, software, no software. Software's dead, whatever. But almost everything we use nowadays is software plus services. All these apps on these phones, that's all they are is software plus services. And that's a really good example of QuickBooks Online, software plus service. It is a piece of software on my machine, but it's really just the service running in like this wrapper.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think there's other ones. I think when you think of that, I think about the things that now, like Evernote, like Dropbox, like things that kind of live in two worlds. And I think that's where it's great. I want things that live in both worlds. That their data, their preferences, them as an app live in the cloud, but there's a desktop version that I can get to and use and whatever, and then it's just seamless. I don't want to have to think about it. Where something is, did it sync, did it not sync? And the best of these apps, Dropbox, even Google Drive, Evernote, even OmniFocus with its syncing, all of them, you don't really think about where your data is. You just use the app. It's available. You can use it offline. You can use it on a plane, and then all of a sudden, it's everywhere. And you're like, great. And you don't have to think about it. And I think that's so. Anyway, QuickBooks, I will say the one thing I've really been impressed with them is, and I think they've taken to heart, is they've done, they have a frequent update. So they send out, and they have a blog, and they put it in your login screen. They say, here's our updates. And it's like once a month, they're putting out new updates with little videos, and here's how to use it, and here's what we've done. I'll tell you, when companies start doing this, it gets me like, I just really enjoy it, because it's like you guys are paying attention. You're not just sitting on some old product where sometimes like it hasn't been updated in months and months and months. It feels like it's moving forward. It feels like you're solving issues. It feels like you're listening to community. QuickBooks Online, great thing. Episode 167, by the way.
167.
Almost I guess that's over a year ago. But anyway, too good to skip. Go ahead.
All right. Should I do a top or should I go to a dud?
Well, do a 2, and then we'll do.
All right, we'll do all the duds before. All right, so 2. So I'm picking the one that I picked, but then I'm going to expand on it. So back in episode 177, which was in June of 2014,
okay,
I picked the Chopped app. So
I used it today.
I used it just today, and I use it all the time because I eat at Chopped all the time. But I think what I'm really picking here is Level Up.
Right.
Because Level Up is the service behind the white label service behind what these apps are built upon. And these apps, the Chopped app is a mobile app. You log into it, and it has your credit card info, and you pay with essentially a QR code.
Yep.
And it is tied into a loyalty program that if you spend X amount of dollars, you get, X. So $100, you get 10 back.
Speaking of which, my lunch was free today.
Good for you.
$14.67. The whole thing was free.
That's because they had a screw up where they gave everyone $5.
Okay. So
if you use the app, you get these things.
I had free lunch.
Yeah. So I also frequent a coffee shop.
Is it Greg or Tim?
Gregory's.
Okay, Gregory.
So Gregory's here in the city, they have their own app.
Right.
But it's, again, back-ended by Level Up. So Level Up takes care of this, where I go to the app and I log into my Level Up account,
right,
and it just pulls everything into it.
Yep.
Now, the reason why I like Gregory's app better than Chopped's app is because Gregory's allows me to throw their pay screen into my passbook.
Oh, nice.
So I just open my passbook and then boom, there's Gregory's, and I pay with it. I
think at that point, if it's location where you get close, and it should be in your corner saying you can pay. I know Chopped does that. When you get close to Chopped, it says Chopped. You can hit the thing in the corner, it pops it right open.
Yeah. So I'm really kind of picking the level up concept because, again, they run the loyalty program.
Like, why not just have one app?
Well, that's why I like the passbook concept. Just throw it in the passbook. I want passbook to be my one app to pay for things
Apple
with.
Pay. See, I want Apple. I want to go the other way.
Apple Pay needs to handle
loyalty.
Yes, because Level Up handles the loyalty aspect of it. So until Apple Pay can handle loyalty, there's no reason for you to use that over these loyalty programs because you actually get money back.
Right.
Apple Pay is just, okay, we made it a little easier for you to pay because you don't have to open an app.
Again, I don't, until they figure out how to do it, because Apple Pay, the whole big thing about it, why it's so brilliant, is it's totally anonymous. The vendor never gets any information about you. It generates a one-time code, whereas a loyalty program is about them knowing about you, right?
They absolutely know about you.
One thing they changed on the Chopped app, which I don't know if you know, they do monthly billing now. They don't bill your card until the end of the month. Oh, yeah. So watch your billing. You probably don't pay attention to your credit card, but
I get the statement from Level Up sends me the monthly thing. That's different.
Right. That's when they bill you. So they actually don't bill you on a per basis. And I think that's because they're trying to lower the fees, because there's a fee. Every time you make a credit card, there's two fees involved. There's the percentage and there's like a fee, like a 30-cent fee. So I think they're thinking, well, if you do 4 purchases in a month, we'll save $1.20 because we won't have that 30-cent fee. Because we'll only do the fee once, not right anyway.
Right.
All right. So that was your number 2?
That was number 2, yeah.
My number 2, I did go way back in time, but this app is
You went in the Wayback Machine?
I went Wayback Machine. This app is just so much a part of my life at this point that the next 2 apps are so much part of my life. And this is one of those ones. This is a freemium one that I've actually I paid up. Like, it's like, oh, you get to use this and now pay more. And I was like, okay, fine. I'm finally biting the bullet. Runkeeper.
Yeah, we're both Runkeeper app people.
We're both runners. We both train for, we're going to do a Brooklyn half soon. And I love stats. I love tracking all this crap. But Runkeeper has been solid. My wife uses Strava, and I'll tell you, it crashes all the time. And she can't, it stopped working. She ran a half the other day, and it stopped working in the middle of the half.
No good.
Yeah. There are issues with Runkeeper, kind of sometimes, but it's more on the GPS side.
I think the phone
/GPS, whatever. But I love it. And it's got the nice feature
so you upgraded to the Pro?
I did.
What does that now give you? I know I click on some things sometimes and it's like, no, sir.
Yeah. It's not enough. So as I'm training, I use it as a way to be like, oh, this will motivate you more to train, because it's just stats. You get a lot more stats on what you're doing. So, but here's some things I love about Runkeeper, and I'll talk about the elite program. So obviously it does all the tracking. It tracks more than just running. If you want to put in things like weight and whatever, you can set goals. Like I have a goal for my running for the year. But then you can just see all sorts of stats, how fast you're running last month, this month, what you're doing. Go back to old runs and see them. It has a Friends program that you and I are in.
Well, Friends is free.
Yeah, the Friends is free, but none of this is under Elite. I'm not saying these are under Elite.
Okay.
But you said you went running the other day and you were in Atlanta, and I went in and I looked at your run.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's where you went run. I turned it on, so now you should be able to see my runs. And that's kind of fun.
I like when people like my runs. I have now a little network of friends in there, not a huge network, but I know one person in particular. He acknowledged it. It's like when you like a run, it's sort of like you're acknowledging,
right?
Hey, I saw you ran. Cool,
right?
I enjoy that.
So anyway,
my wife, when she runs it pops a notification for me
because you have a notification on her.
Yeah, so I can see, oh, she did a run, and I swipe it and see what she did, and I can like it and give her comments and stuff.
Run faster.
Well, I like her comments about herself. They're kind of funny.
Really? She puts in comments. I don't put in comments on my.
Felt good today.
But anyway, Runkeeper, and the reason I'm picking is because they have announced that their newest version works on the Apple Watch. So while I'm excited to use the Apple Watch and it has a run tracking, I'm basically going to use both. So I'm going to use the Apple Watch to track my run, but I'm also going to use Runkeeper because Runkeeper at this point, from what I can tell, gives so much more stats that, I want to have more information about my runs. It does go to health. It does do other stuff. It's a great app. Anyway, Runkeeper, the Elite program is just really about stats. And you can get some real averages and things like that you get out of the Elite. It's not. They need to add a few more things in there. They need to add better stats. It's kind of like one big page of stats as opposed to you need to be able to drill in. But anyway, Runkeeper. Do
you know what I'm excited for? What? I'm gonna do a little aside back to the Apple Watch because someone just posted something and I was paying attention to something else.
Wow, good job.
Salesforce Authenticator on the Apple Watch.
Yeah,
kind of excited about that. All right, sorry. All right, number one.
You duds.
Oh, duds. Here's a couple duds. So, Coin. Dud.
Oh, total
dud of all time.
Yeah, never even shipped.
I canceled it. I said refund me.
All right, one of mine is not that it's a dud, but it's a dud because I think I made it a pick and I still haven't gotten it. The coolest.
Coolest cooler?
So it's going to be cool.
That's because they keep adding features like dummies.
It's fine, but it was supposed to ship in February. And
it's not that far off. How about the Sense?
But that was 7 months away.
How about the Sense?
Yeah.
We haven't gotten our Sense yet.
Nope.
That was supposed to ship in, I think, January,
so
February.
I made that one of my duds. Not because it's a dud, but I picked something that I think a year. Well, 8/29/2014. All right, well, it's still a long time. Still haven't gotten it.
Knock was another one I picked.
Oh,
Knock was the one where you can wake your computer from sleep by tapping your iPhone,
your code or something.
Your iPhone, just knock it, literally hit it with your knuckle.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
Yeah, that was
my other dud was, and this is a terrible dud because it's on the desktop. We think this is one of the greatest apps that was ever invented, but on iOS, it's just a total dud. It's Text Expander.
Oh, it's total.
Text Expander for the Mac is I can't live without it. You're on a computer without it now and you're dying.
But
Text Expander for iOS,
it just takes over that keyboard and at weird times when you're clicking something else, it's just slow.
I
and
want
it
just to work exactly like it does, and it doesn't. It
you have
to
flip to another keyboard. It's not. It's
and
not a good
that
implementation.
Keyboard isn't good.
Yeah, it's terrible. So it doesn't do any of the autocorrect.
It's good at what
it shouldn't.
It's good at what it does, meaning it's good at expanding. If you only expand it, it'd be great. But it's terrible at regular typing.
Because it can't. It can't. The reason why you can type fairly well on an iOS keyboard is not because you're really accurate, but because it's good at figuring out what you're trying to write.
Right.
And if you're really good at it, you just go with the flow and you let it autocorrect itself. And usually it's right. Sometimes it's not. But
what's your
Text Expander? Text Expander keyboard purposely should never autocorrect because you're spelling things wrong purposely oftentimes. Anyway, number one, and I made fun of this when I signed up for it, but I really love it. It's Venmo. Venmo. The payment thing.
Your number one app in the last year?
I've been using it to pay people, and it's so fast, and it's so easy to sign up, and I just feel like they made it so simple to do. It's a great little app for paying people. It's really easy.
Wow.
I mean, they just made it so... They took PayPal and reinvented it.
Yeah.
And made it so simple.
And QuickPay by Chase, which we use all the time.
Which is not simple. QuickPay is not simple. For the person receiving the funds, they have to click
if they don't
and
have
accept,
it, yes.
And it's sort of an annoying thing.
Right.
Venmo just makes everything really simple. The only thing I don't really love about it is the social part, where you pay somebody and you have to say this is private.
Right.
As opposed to it just being public, which is weird.
It's so just, it's
just weird.
Justin just gave $5 to Jason.
Paid my sister $200. Okay.
Why is that social?
Why does that have to be out
Not
there in
social.
the world?
It's
No
not
one
out
needs
in
to
the world.
know.
Yes.
But anyway, Venmo. Yeah,
All right.
I picked that on episode 205, so not too long ago.
So I have two bonuses. Did you have any bonuses? So I'm gonna throw them out there.
I didn't. No. What's the point of bonuses?
Well, just two things that they were in my list, but I didn't make it ultimately. One, just two things that I really like. So NFL Now, which I picked basically 8 months ago as a service. It's basically NFL's ability to use a pay service. It's $2 a month. I still use it. I still watch it. And every time I watch it, I'm like, wow, I should watch this more because it's just great to go in and get just the information I want. And then because I'm a gamer, one of my favorite new games, Kingdom Rush Origins. So it's the third of the season of Kingdom Rush. If you don't play Kingdom Rush, play Kingdom Rush. It's awesome. All right. My number one pick is, again, if there's one app that I go into more than any other app on my iPhone all the time, and now I've learned some new stuff about it, you are almost going to tell it what it was. It also rhymes with the way our company name. There's nothing wrong with this app. It is Argus, Argus. It is it's an app that's built to use the motion sensor in the new iPhones, so you don't have to wear the Fitbits, whatever. You can just use the app. And I'll tell you, I love it. I've been using it since June of last year. I look at it way too often. It has great features of tracking. You can track other things like workouts and runs and all sorts of stuff. It hooks up to other third-party stuff if you want to. But the newest feature, which now puts it over the top in terms of one of the greatest apps ever, they now have a challenge. So you can hook up with someone else who's using the app, and then you can set challenges. You can do a day challenge, like I just challenge you to a day of steps, a step off. You can do a weekend challenge.
That's like when you're going to go for a run.
Well,
I'll challenge you now.
And then they have a weekend, and then they have a weekend challenge, like, oh, I'm just going to challenge you to this weekend. And they have a week challenge.
I would not win a weekend, although I do my long runs on the weekend. But the other day, I do nothing.
Yeah, and then the week challenge, which I'm doing currently with my wife, where she's crushing me.
She's gotta be crushing.
She's crushing me. Although I'm gonna try to catch up tomorrow.
What's the score right now?
Well, I can tell you the score is.
So you're challenging your wife for the week, but your wife ran a half marathon on Sunday.
It's kind of
which was.
I don't think that's part of the week though.
It's
dumbest... Monday to Sunday, not Sunday.
Oh, really? So how is she crushing you? If the half didn't even count.
Let's see. The thing about the challenge, it keeps it a little slow. It tells you how you're doing on the day. Like today, they'll say, "Oh, she's ahead of you," or "You're ahead of her" on the day, and then also tells you the week.
Yeah.
So right now,
how are you doing?
Oh, let's see. Okay. Yeah, today she's crushing me by 11,000 steps.
She's beating you by 11,000.
No, it's 11,000 to my 6.
Oh man,
1,000. And then in the week-long rumble, it's 69,000 to 57.
How is she walking so much more than you are?
She walks a lot.
Where does she go?
Well, she I don't know, in the office she walks around a lot or something. I don't know. It's crazy.
That didn't count her half marathon either?
No, that was our last challenge, and she crushed it because we did it one day just to try it out.
Oh.
So what's nice is when you set up the challenge, it says like for next week. So it's very simple. I'm just see if I can go back to my old challenges to see them. This one ends on Sunday. Yeah, we did a daily face-off, and she had 28,000 to my 12. That was when she ran a half marathon. Yeah, and there's her as the winner. But you can do more than one person.
She crushed you.
So you could have like 5 or 6 people.
Wow.
It is fun. It is fun. Anyway, Arkus, it's free. This one I have not paid for because like everything I'm reading in, I can't find anything I'm even remotely interested in the non-pay version. They came out with stuff, but the stats are great. You can compare things like number of steps to like your average heart rate or day by day. It is awesome. I love this app. Argus, Argus. Someone actually suggested it to us as an app when we talked about one of my other picks. Awesome. Argus. So that's number 1. All right, we'll put the top 10 in the notes. I don't know if we'll do links to them. Maybe we will. Maybe I don't know. We'll see. And we'll be back next week with Summer 15 because the release notes hit yesterday, 2 days ago. Pre-release
yesterday, I think.
Yeah, so I went in, I saw one thing I was excited about. Looks awesome. But we'll go over them. We'll talk about that a little bit next week. Maybe we'll do some iWatch or Apple Watch impressions. We're not going to talk about any kind of reviewing us, but remember you can follow Justin at Just Edelstein. You can follow me at Jason M. Atwood, the company at Arkus Inc. We're on the Facebook. We're in the Success Community Group. That's a great place to follow us. And blah, blah, blah. We'll be back next week with another one of CloudFocus Weekly. It's Justin and Jason saying, enjoy those cloudy days.